Hello, it is time for the next talk by Jonne Taivassalo, lab master and senior advisor. And he's going to talk about teamwork is toxic by nature. So I hope you guys are excited, and let's give him a welcome.
Hello. Can you hear me? Maybe. You could hear me without the mic. You're so intimate crowd, so close to me. All the best people. So yeah, if I lose my voice or my voice cracks during this talk, that is not because I'm just two teenagers in a big pants. It is just I've lost my voice 7 times during Nordic game for talking too much. So let's see how that works. My voice. So this talk comes in 3 parts. First, why, who am I, what am I talking about, and why you maybe can listen to me. But first, I need to give you disclaimers. First of all, this is going to be weird. That is just what I am. And since I organized the first game conference some 15 years ago, or it was event, the conference, since that I have been talking that you should consider all the senior veteran game developers talking to you. You should treat them like your grandparents. You should listen to them, but don't do what they tell you to do. You need to do the heavy lifting, figure out what is right for you. Also, I'm standing on the shoulders of the giants, and all of this talk is based on somebody else's work. And with all the quotes in the internet, you'd always consider if they are true. And just to insult all of you, use the force, Harry. So, someone not insulted. Well, let's keep working. So, don't worry, you don't need your phone yet. I'll show this in the end, but there's a bunch of videos that give more context on this topic because I go through a wide range of things. But I'll show this QR code to you later so you can study this a little bit more. So, who am I? I'm the lab master of Espoo Game Lab. It's an incubator accelerator program. I'm called Jonne Taivassalo. And yeah, I have a weird background that makes it work now in where I'm right now in my career. But I'm a game entrepreneur, educator, creative leader, and so on, so on, so on. But I've always been jumping between game development and regional development, especially the game industry development. And been working at big companies and small companies, and also a bunch of non-profits. And here am I cycling through Finland after pandemic. We had the Jam Bike 21, where we cycled 1,011 kilometers through Finland, through all the big game industry hubs, and made a game on a tandem. So, and 2017, I came from Stockholm to Malmö here because I was between jobs and I needed this ticket for free. So I reached Jacob, can I get the ticket for free if I come by bike? And he liked the idea. So I'm that kind of idiot. And also, I'm a huge martial arts nerd, so sorry about that. Bunch of that stuff affects my thinking. That's the boring part of the talk. So the Espoo Game Lab is basically it's a virtual studio, like a learning environment, where we make teams out of individuals and help them make their games. And it's for students, career changers, unemployed game developers, aspiring game entrepreneurs. We also take teams and small companies with us. And it's a place to grow professionally because it's on-site program. It's not a hybrid program, it's on-site program. And that's what I demand from my teams and my people. This is a very complex slide, but the first pilot was funnel-like. We took people in, we took technical people, artistic people, and operational people. That includes everything from business to design to community management. And we taught them about game design and game business and made them pitch to game industry professionals half of the game ideas were killed, but the people stayed. And we created new teams out of that. So it was 6 months with couple gates where we killed the games. When we got feedback on this, people really liked it, but there was a small minority who didn't like their team to be killed and the game to be killed. So being a game designer, I overreacted to the feedback, and I'm already losing my voice. If somebody can come here, voice double me. But yeah, I overreacted to feedback on purpose, and we pushed all the responsibility to the labbers. So now we didn't kill anything, that was your job. We didn't make teams, that was your job. In my opinion, more entrepreneurial thinking. And it has been working because we didn't go back to the first one. But basically we used Game Jam as an entrance exam. We had a short lectures and workshops, learning the routines, and then a gate where the jury, game design professionals, gave feedback to the games. But this time they didn't kill anything. That was the labber's job, and that was fantastic. I loved it. And between gate and the jam, there's an open season where you actually can decide how do you pivot, how do you fix your game, do you poach people from other teams to your team, so you could like change the teams during those open seasons, but not outside that. So, what seems to be the problem, officer? And this is probably why you came here. Maybe to yell to me. I love people, I love teamwork. So, but I stand behind it. Teamwork is toxic by nature. And I don't mean it's gonna be great. I don't mean that I don't mean toxic people. That's no-brainer. You never fucking work with toxic people. Fuck them. You never want to waste any second working with them. So I'm not talking about that. I'm actually talking about never-ending projects without direction, slowly snuffing everybody out. I'm talking about hot potato, like people dodging responsibility and just avoiding decisions and doing that kind of stuff. People feeling unsafe, looking behind their shoulders all the time, one way or another. And yeah, just like being unmotivated and uninspired because the teamwork can be messy, teamwork can be very vague, teamwork can be very cursed, and after all, it's always human. I think you all have experienced this somewhere in maybe in your studies, in the school or university or even at work. Probably not in work, but you imagine this team of people, like 5 people. Sorry. So one of them will make the whole project, they'll finish everything. One feel very bad, so they will promise to do the presentation. That's me. And then there's 2 people who avoid eye contact in the final presentation, and 5th person just never comes up. They just disappear. And I don't think that's because any of those people were bad or anything like that. I think there's a reason for that, why that happens. It's because teamwork is toxic by nature. Then there's the another problem. I draw this myself. I'm very proud of it. Woo! Thanks, you guy. And very tired metaphor. Making games a journey. So you start somewhere with maybe a nice bonfire or fireplace. What is that? I forgot the word. And you can see the path in front of you. You see there's some pebbles on the road. Maybe there's some flowers in the side. You can see some paths are very short and you shouldn't go that direction. Some paths you can see far away, but there's like corners you can see through. There might be, maybe the path is cut. Maybe you should take the risk, but it might be dangerous. And then maybe, hey, there's boulder blocking that road, but is there a cave behind it? Should we maybe check that out? And some paths go to the forest. And whenever you see a summer cottage with smoke coming out, maybe have a break, go for sauna. So in the end, like making games is very difficult, especially if you think about you should make money or stay fucking sane doing that. So making games is difficult. One of my, if in one word, if I would sum game development in one word, it would be diabolical. Because games are constant push and pull of very hit-oriented, goal-oriented business against your ego and your sanity, because you are making creative decisions where there's no right choice to do. You always have to live with your consequences, and there's no right one way to do it. So it's quite nasty. And my absolute favorite quote ever from Rami Ismail, it's all fun and games until it has to be fun and a game. Love it. And actually last year he had amazing talk here that is also in the behind the QR code I showed, like picking the right game, the first choice matters. And that's what we do in the game lab. I focused on the early phases of the game development, like what is actually the game you should waste your life on. And just briefly for the creative leadership, like this is from Jonas Taivassalo. I wish to meet him one day. And he had this nice framework that just basically verbalized what I was doing already in EGL 1 and 2. And I adopted it fully. Those are the cornerstones of making an indie game. This is wisdom from the game industry. I heard it from the senior from Remedy. And he said this is not from them, but you need to understand that the first 90% of your game development is not so bad than your second 90% of your game development. So it's the scope creep, it's the polish, it's all of that. And this has some influence on the martial art background I have. This kind of spiral thinking, like if you're stuck on something, you should just do something else. Maybe completely different game, or just like maybe focus on the art, maybe focus on the marketing, maybe focus on the technical side, maybe go back to game design, whatever that is. Always keep moving, because time is the most valuable thing. A lot of text, but 2 points. Team chemistry. Since I started in the game industry, it was a common joke. How the hell do you know that you work well together? And I was like, I have never heard a good idea how you can make it fast. It can't be rushed. So team chemistry can't be rushed, and passive peer pressure is a silent enemy. So one of my favorite anecdotes, whatever that is Road to Hell is paved with good intentions. Nice people being nice to each other end up hurting themselves and others. So, one way to do it, one way to hurt each other is with hierarchy or without it. So probably the first thing that comes to your mind with hierarchy is something like very masculine, very dominant. Maybe that's something that comes to people's minds, or something very corporate. So like the losers, the clueless, the sociopaths on the top. Maybe it's something like that. But you need to understand that the hierarchy is different from domination. It is not same. And almost done. So, one thing that we really like here in the Nordics is the flat hierarchy, at least since I started my career. It is very Nordic, maybe very socialist, but is it nice? What does it mean? Because it can be very slow, it can be actually very stressful, and it can be quite overwhelming. So, if you have functional hierarchy, it adds work hygiene. You don't have to worry about it. You can trust your team members that they take care of their turf, and you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to have it encourages responsibility and trust, and it empowers learning and growth. It makes you specialized, that makes you more effective, if you can specialize. In a small team you have many hats, but still you should specialize as much as you can. At best, it is very powerful and efficient. Agreed rules and boundaries, what is your turf, what is not. Hierarchy should be, this is very important, in hierarchy people are equal. That's what we all want. People are equal, but people are empowered. You take care of that thing. You take care of that thing. I trust you. Remember the 70% rule. You don't have, if you delegate something, good enough is enough. then you can work on it with it later. You don't need to micromanage anybody. It is better, it should be better than peer pressure, just like everybody's working hard. Maybe I should work hard too. It's better than confusion when nobody takes charge, when everybody is designing. Something happened. Yep. And it's better than design by committee. There's no better way to waste a lot of time than to make every decision together. It's the most expensive meeting you can have, to have everybody, all hands meeting, no matter the size of your team. And there's different ways how you can, spread the feature ownership. This is just, why's that not working? Weird. Something's off. But there's different ways how you can approach these problems. You don't have to think about, I'm a game designer, I'm something. You don't have to have roles. Actually, like having a feature ownership is better, and understand why we trust designers and business people, and why do we trust tools and programmers to make things happen, and so on, so on. That's just an example. But I have a question for you. What is the job of indie, maybe even solo developer, game developer? Sorry? Everything. That's good. If you are a small boy like me, if you're an indie developer, you are an entrepreneur. You are in charge of paying your bills, having a roof on top of you, making enough money from food. So if you want to be an indie developer, get ready. Indie is always dying because it's all about entrepreneurship. That's also from Rami Ismail, I think. So let's a little bit more practical. First, a little bit creative leadership, and then a tool. So the solution, and I'm very Finnish. I wrote the solution, and then I was like, this is not the solution. But then I was like, fuck that, this is the solution. So listen well. Yeah, I got very interested about creative leadership many years ago, and during commutes I listened audiobook, the Steve Jobs biography, and it puzzled me. Well, how the hell? Because without dispute, he made Apple make great products, inventions, push them beyond the limit. But I don't want to be that guy. That guy is fucking asshole. I don't want to work with him. He was bad. Just read the biography. But there was something there, like, is there something I could learn from his way of pushing people? So I started thinking, I'm a huge nerd, if you don't know. So I thought about dark side, and dark side is, we can argue about this later, but dark side is not about being evil, it's about power. So dark side, if you work on the dark side, that's the moment when you push yourself. Because you probably have the experience that somebody in your team is working very hard, and it pulls you in. You also feel like they say nothing, but you feel like I should work more because they work very hard. So it's gonna pulls you in. It tempts you. So it's dangerous. So you need to announce that, hey guys, I'm going to the dark side. Don't follow me. It's a silly place. And on the other side, you have the light side of working. That's when you heal, you build, you fix your development debt, maybe the bug that bothers you. Maybe you work less hours because you had to crunch because of demo or something like that. That's when you take care of yourself, your bodily needs, your mental needs, you take care. Because this also radiates outside, this also heals the team. You know that. If you have a colleague or supervisor or anybody who is like always, like, obviously feels nice, not like fake nice, but like really nice, he's in balance. That helps you also. So it goes both ways. Steve is very curious about the concept. But I think there's the big thing is to use them both. Use them. Don't slip in the dark side. Don't slip in the light side. Use them. Announce them. Tell it out loud to your team. I'm going to the dark side. Don't follow. And if they choose to follow, they say, I'll follow you. Now it's time to do this. On the other hand, the problem of like sunk cost fallacy and shiny object, it's a basic system thinking, divergent, convergent thinking modes. So divergency is very important. That's when you brainstorm, you break free, you discuss, you challenge, you add things to what you're working on. And you can't be there all the time. But you can also go to the convergent mode. That's when you actually believe and commit. You build something, you test it for real. You just don't touchy-feely write things. You actually try it out. And you lock in. And you can change this like twice a day if you need to, or once a week, however works for you. And your team doesn't have to do this at the same time. Somebody might be in divergent mode and somebody in the convergent mode. You don't have to agree anything. Like you don't have to be at the same pace. Yeah, Steve was curious. Flashbang alert, but there's enough light, so you're not in danger because we go to the light slides now. So, this is the tool that we have been using in the Game Lab, and I think this tool can help you if you're indie, if you're a student team, if you have a company, if you don't have a company, if it's a student. If you're a student and try this out, please let me know. Because team contract itself is the end result, but the whole point is the discussion. You need to discuss how you work, how you communicate, how you rest and recover. Do you have hard limits, soft limits, maybe like AI use or something like that? What are your goals? Like, do you want to start a game company? Do you want to make shit ton of money? Maybe not games then. Anyway, and what are your goals on this project? And why? Why you're doing this? Why you're here? So team contract. I can slow down a little bit. So what kind of things you can discuss when you're making a team contract? So on ways of working and communication, your availability, obviously. Say you're like my teams are bootstrappers, so some of them are working on benefits, some have savings, some have to work part-time, whatever situation. So what is your availability? How many weekly hours can you make? Which days work for you the best? Then you're like, are you early bird? Are you night owl? Great example also from the university is this, that somebody is programming software project and they push the commit 5 a.m. and go to bed. Another person wakes up 6 a.m., takes the dog to run, takes dog out for run, sits front of their computer 30 minutes later, opens the computer, like, oh, that other person, they worked all night. That I would fucking die. I can't do that. So they start working hard. And then around noon, the other person wakes up after their slumber, and then it's like, oh man, the other person woke up 6 a.m. I would fucking die. And both feel bad for no reason. So it is important to talk about your rhythm and your energy also. Because for example, my brain in the morning, it works too fast. I hate to do deep work in the morning. I can't sit down and write, even though I try it almost every day. I like have more meetings in the morning. And then in the afternoon and during nights, then I do deep work. Very annoying. But some people like to do the opposite. Some people like to do the task and deep work in the morning alone without anybody bothering them. And then they are open for meetings afternoon and then they go home. Something like that. But you should discuss about these things. How about weekends and holidays? If you have a family or if you travel to your family every weekend or so, then you don't want to work then. But like students often, there's best time to work because other things don't bother them. Or that you might be working during weekends because you do part-time. You just need to talk about this. Because I've seen this so many times. Somebody's like, yeah, we're going to have a holiday, so we have plenty of time to work. And then somebody's like, sorry, I can't because I'm traveling home or something. How about evenings? Some people like to work evenings. Some people can't work to evenings. If you are a semi-professional athlete, maybe you have trainings in the morning, or maybe you have trainings 4 times a week, every evening. Every evening, 4 times a week. Anyway, so it depends on your life. When are you available? And team fun days, like something else than work, is very important for the culture and for you guys staying sane together. Vacations. That was interesting thing I heard on this stage last year, having these working vacations. So how do you make sure it can't be just lunches once a week, every day? How are you? Whatever rocks your boat. Lunches together, whatever. Communications. Communication styles, the cultural side. Like if you would put like a Finnish and American and Italian person in the same room, it would be completely different way to communicate. And how about asynchronous or synchronous communication? Do you prefer like talking, messages? What is the expectation if somebody sends you a Slack message or whatever you use, Discord message, in the evening? Are you expected to answer, or is it fine to answer in the morning? Do you have specific hot hours? Or days? So maybe every Wednesday you're at the office or meet at the library, whatever it is. Or maybe every day you work between 10 and 4, whatever you decide. It's up to you to decide. The work hygiene part. Do you want to work face to face? Is that what you want? Is that what all of you want? What if somebody's working at the desk? Is it okay to go and bother them? Hey, where should I put this button? I don't know. I'm looking at Excel. That's happened to me. And calls, meetings, how should you organize them? What is too much? What is too little? Should you have cameras on? And why? And at this point, I want to emphasize that you don't have to agree. You are not making a sad compromise. You are being transparent. This is what helps me work. That's what helps you work. You can spend 20 hours. I can spend 120 hours. It's fine. You don't have to do a sad compromise. You need a couple times a week when you meet each other or at the call at the same time. That's enough. But you don't have to make a sad compromise. It is fine that you have different working styles. I don't think it's possible to have a team of people with similar working styles. I don't know if that's ever happened. Then there's also the other side of the team contract, like the goals. What do you want to learn? If you are in an incubator or a student or something, just working between jobs with friends, do you want to be an entrepreneur? Are you making something serious? And if you are serious, if you want to make a company, do you want to make an indie thing? Or do you want to make a scale up, next King or Supercell or whatever? What's your goals? What's your aspiration? What are your monetary needs? Can you just live at your parents and just develop the game? Do you have kids and mortgage and you die if you don't have enough money? Do you have to take a job if it's offered? This is an important thing to talk. And if this is just a portfolio piece for you, that's also fine. Like, you just need to know that beforehand. If two people are starting a company, one is making a portfolio piece, that's fine. You just have to know that, so you can prepare for it. Because if you hear that after 1 year, then people are going to be upset. Yeah, we had such a good thing going on. I didn't want to tell you, but I really can't start a company with you guys. And, no, you are the art director of a company. Like, the whole thing is built around you. What the hell? So that's when people get hurt. Limits, hobbies, family, tools that and licenses you might have and you prefer, values. Maybe you don't want to make violent games. You want to make non-violent games, or you want to punch notches in all of your games. Whatever is your values that are affecting you being motivated. Because especially when you're bootstrapping, working on a side project or starting something new, values are very important. Like, it is hard to come working every day if nobody pays you and you don't like what you're doing. It is very unlikely to finish that project. And you need to agree a bunch of things. You need to agree to lock in. It's a serious thing to make a contract. Act of trust and faith. And you have agreed. You lock in. What that means, that you are committed to iteration. I recommend printing this paper out, signing it by hand, but still accepting that, hey, if I say I work 20 if I say I work 40 hours every week, and then I have a family crisis or whatever happens, then you have to let the team know that, hey, next 2 weeks I'm needed elsewhere. I can only work like 5 hours a week or nothing. That's what it means. You need to lock in, and what that means that you let people know if there's change. And the feature ownership, roles. Feature ownership is better than roles in my opinion, like I mentioned earlier. Like you don't need a game designer, and even if you have a game designer as a title, still the person, say maybe the programmer is the best math head in the group, so maybe balancing goes to their table. You don't know. Use your strengths and weaknesses. All right. And like I mentioned, value, it's very important. There's many different ways what kind of value you can extract from your project. It's money to pay your bills. That's very important for most of us. And what are your expectations? Do you expect 4,000 euros salary or 8 trillion kroner salary in the beginning or something else? Can you do it? Can you be paid less? How long do you have burn rate? Are you running out of money? Do you have savings that you can invest or burn personally? Do you have friends, family and fools who can pay or give money to your company? What's your backup plan if everything goes to south? There's other values, like you can just want experience, maybe the first serious game project you've ever done, portfolio piece. It can be for fun. It can be for self-expression. That's also fine. That's totally valid value why to make a game. You just need to tell that to the team. Or is it maybe something completely else? This is Ikigai, you've probably seen it, but it's just one way to figure out what is your Ikigai, what combines what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you are good at. But I'll tell you one more secret. First, you need to do this alone. Before you have a team, preferably, if you can. Because the moment you have team members, you start to adjust. Because you're a nice person. You're not probably a psychopath. So you adjust to other people. And that means you can hurt yourself. Then you compare notes. And you discuss so much. And third step is very important, you write it down. You think you agree in talking, and then you write it down and realize you don't agree. It is very powerful, magical tool, the writing. And then you discuss more and iterate the text until you all agree. And 4, have a ritual. It can be just printing the paper out and just signing it by hand. But you can have more extravagant ritual if you want. And then just have a pause, stop and have eye contact and, no, we are doing this now, cool. Something like that. And remember, you are your own champion. If you agree to a contract that is not good for you, you let yourself down. And that way you let the team down. So remember, you are your own champion. If you are in danger. And the pedagogy side, the repeat. So some visual aid. Listen. So first you need to get to know yourself better. You need to have a plan. You need to I don't mean you have to know yourself completely, but you need to know yourself better. You need to discuss, you really discuss with the team. What do you want? How you differ, how you work around that. You need to write it down to make sure everybody agrees. You sign it, you commit, and celebrate. Be a leader who follows. And we all know what the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Yeah, thank you. You're great. And also, if you already have a team, remember it's never too late. There is redemption. Not that kind of redemption. Remember to be kind. Don't be nice. Be kind to yourself and others. Because it is dangerous to go alone. Like, making games is better with friends and colleagues when done right. And if you want to make games alone, what are you doing here? So, thank you, and always remember to be kind. I have voice left. I put that there, so if you want to have a YouTube playlist, you can. Any questions?
Nice talk. I loved it. Yeah,
Thanks.
you made
I
it
like
look
it too.
really, yesterday, and I did love it. I'm wondering, how do you actually deal with the sociopaths and the psychopaths?
Sorry, what?
How do you deal with the sociopaths and the psychopaths?
I tell them to leave.
How and when?
Immediately when I realize they're nuts.
All right.
I know what I understand what you ask,
Yeah.
but I want to emphasize
Yeah.
that if you have power to get rid of somebody who is not okay, and who is, because one sociopath, even if they are a godlike programmer or whatever, or a business leader who will make your company rise to the stars, to the moon, and shoot off and go to the void and be dead. Anyway, faster you get rid of the sociopath, the better. You can always ask people to fix things, and if they don't listen, if they have excuses, you know you're quite close to a sociopath. I know it sounds harsh, but don't waste your time with sociopaths or toxic people.
Thank you. Great talk. I was wondering, you were talking about how, I thought it was very insightful how you were talking about when it's okay to accept the differences between people, like as long as you know. Because I've been in that situation where, you're trying to sit down and, I don't want to do this, so this 2-hour window is when everyone is okay. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, but how do you formalize that in the contract? Like, how do you square that circle, sort of? Because, everyone has to agree what it says in the contract. Do you say, X person wants to do Y, and Z person wants to work in the evening? How do you do that?
Yeah, I'm a game designer, maybe Google Sheet. But that's a good question. You formalize it by being utterly transparent and just talk about that. You write everything down, and then maybe you have some way. It's a real UX problem how to communicate all this information, and that's what I give. I don't give any template. I once gave template to my teams, and Doc ate the homework. They just changed names and not all the dates, and I was very upset because that's totally missing the point. The point is to talk and share and be transparent. If you just, we just do this, because you never have time to talk how you work. But if you don't talk how you work, you will suffer because it just happens every time. I've seen it when you never have time to talk about work. When we finish this, we do this now with deadline. We can't stop and have a retrospective or something. You never have time for that. But if you don't have time for that, you will die. I'm sure, probably, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the talk. The way I view contracts, talking about the team contract, is it's only as strong as the repercussions if you break it. What's your take on that? Thanks.
Yeah, that's true. Especially in the more commercial sense. I don't think it's a problem here, because if you break the contract, you break the trust in the team, and that makes you need safety and trust to be creative, and you need to feel safe to make creative discussions. So yeah, I understand it's very soft, but what power do you have if you're peers like you?
But do you think that you should reconnect with the team if it's broken? How do you know it's broken?
Well, obviously, if anybody's upset, then you need to upgrade the contract. It is always living document. You have it in your Google Drive or wherever. You print it to make the ritual, make it real, but still you update the document all the time. And that's how you do it, because every time I tell my teams, reserve at least 2 days for this. And every time they're like, yeah, you were right. It will take time. Because you think you agree, but then you really talk and write things down, you realize you don't agree. But yeah, it is if you break the contract, if you break the trust, you always have to be kind And you should know that the people didn't do it on purpose, or they're not evil or bad or something like that, even if they do it in the wrong time. But I don't think you need more. It is the safer you feel with the team, more creative, better work you do. So it is a reward itself, and just losing that reward is enough for the contract. And always be ready to amend the contract and change things.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for the talk. I'm wondering if you start off with a small team and you have members coming into the team.
Oh, yeah.
What is the process for updating the contract?
Thank you so much. You make a new contract. That's what I learned in DevScom was the old name, many years ago. If you have a team of 6 and you add 1 person, it's a new team. If it's not the new team, you will alienate the new one. So yeah, it should be more streamlined, but you should give the voice to the new person and let them not try to make sure you don't affect them too much, because they feel weird joining a team that works like Dream, because you have team contracts, so you work like a Dream. And they join you. They probably join you for a reason. Maybe you need them, or you just click with them. You like them, you game jam with them, whatever. You want them to join you. They join you for a reason, and you need to make a new contract so that you don't rush through it and alienate it. You need to explain why I work like this for them, because they haven't yet worked for you much. So thank you so much for asking that question. That's very important. When you have 1 new team member, any change the team, that's a new team, you need new contract.
Thank you.
Important question.
It does make me think, in the sense that I work sometimes with freelancers, which I need for like a specific short thing.
Yeah.
And to what extent actually do you spend time on doing this, if it's like 1 week of work that they're going to do with you?
Yeah, well, that's different. You need a contract. You have a contract with them, I'm sure. And then you just need, it's more transactional. They give you a service or something, and you pay for that. My only recommendation there is to never have open, like, never promise anything to anybody that you can't deliver. If you can pay, sign that in contract. If you can't pay, tell them, I can't pay you. If the game succeeds and we work well, maybe we want to hire you in the next game. But don't promise 20 tickets in your in your backlog that when your game sells 25,000, that is not much, and then you realize you are 20,000 in debt with 15 people. Then you kill your company and upset everybody. Be very clear that I can't pay for you and I don't pay you later. I can't make that promise. I need you, and let's make this work. So that's something I'd say. Always pay if you can, but if you can't, be very transparent about that and don't make vague promises. Yeah, I'll pay you maybe something. So that's how you hurt people and abuse people. So transparency is key here also, in my opinion. Also with like publisher contracts. Be very transparent all the time. Don't try to manipulate. You just get rid fast of the people you don't want to work with. Any contract you do, I always say be transparent. It will save you a lot of work and pain and from others also. Yep.
Any more questions? Then thank you.
Thank you.